Hello and welcome to the second round league card coverage of the 2018 Utah Open presented by Prodigy Disc. We've got Big Julie commentary, Jeremy Colling, Paul Ulibarri.
Yeah, it's an awesome card again with four of the best players in the world and a couple people you might not have heard of.
Yeah, I mean, Preston Johnson's name I've never come across before, and Louis Bitney, a great player from California, but not typically on the league cards. But we obviously got Ricky Wysocki and Paul McBeth, two mainstays. Hot starts. We're on the hole one here. Really fun hole to start off on. You have the beautiful view. You really get that all over the course, though, but a really nice shot to just let it rip and then as far as you can get off the tee because you want to be able to throw softer into the green.
Yeah, absolutely. Your second shot, you want whatever your comfortable approach distance is.
3:15 tee time. This is our leader card. First on the tee pad, currently at 48 strokes, from Huntington Beach, California, four-time world champion, sponsored by Innova Champion Discs, Paul McBeth.
And that was a mouthful.
Yeah, it was. Good job. And Robert, our announcer guy here at the Utah Open. A lot to say about Paul McBeth.
Well, when you have as many accolades as he does.
Yeah. It takes a while to just get out one sentence of the things he's done.
Exactly. When they announce me, it's Paul Ulibarri. And
he's been here before.
And then I throw.
Actually, give yourself some credit. Paul Ulibarri is the 2015 Utah Open champion.
Yeah, I did do that one time.
You did do that.
And that was a good drive by Paul, just right in the middle. Exactly what you want.
From Fort Mill, South Carolina, he's your two-time and current world champion, also your current Utah Open champion, Ricky Wysocki.
Ricky looking good in the all-white.
Ricky going for a little bit more of the flex play here just to bite off some more distance. Really nice line here that's going to keep him right where he wants to be.
Oh, that was a really aggressive shot.
I'm going to guess either a harp approach shot or a harp
Currently
approach
at
shot.
50
One of those
strokes.
two.
That's a good
From
guess.
Lompoc, California, sponsored by DGA, Louis Bitney.
Louis Bitney, he's a character. He's a player that has a really unique approach to the game. His throw is really strange, as you see. Not strange isn't the right word, but it's unique to himself, and he really makes it work. He's got a great spin putt, and he will definitely need that today. The course has gotten 10 times windier than round one.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got a lot of power as well. And he just plays a nice hyzer out to the right, just trusting it's going to come back in the fairway.
Currently at 51 strokes from Prescott, Arizona, sponsored by Westside Discs, Preston Johnson.
And I'm familiar with Preston Johnson. He's a really good player out of Arizona. I play a lot of smaller tournaments with him. Good all-around game, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Just really smooth form, right down the middle, sidearm, backhand, and he has a really great putt. I'm excited to see how he does today.
Yeah, me too. I always love seeing new faces, especially not just on feature card first round, but earning their way on for the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's not an accident that he's on this card. He's been playing very, very well the last couple of years. He just doesn't get out and travel as much as a lot of the players.
And that's a quality shot there. It's going to be right around circle's edge. Kind of a scary putting up that hill just because you know that you have the bunker behind it, so any misses can be pretty scary and punishing.
Looks like Lewis is going with the putter approach shot. And that's your normal play.
Mm-hmm.
You're wanting to hit the front of the hill right there and, have a 10, 15 footer, but if you miss the height, you'll just end up on the backside of the hill. That's the right miss.
And there is a harp, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Cleveland Cavs harp that's been sharpied on the top. He's taken the blue one out of his bag, so I haven't seen him throw this new one yet. And Paul going with the traditional Nova for him. It's just the stickiest disc on the stickiest grass. Just stops right there in place. That's the hillside that you're trying to hit if you want to stay close to the basket. And Lewis with kind of like the fadeaway.
Yeah, it reminded me of like the old Ricky putt where he used to stagger off to the side.
Yeah. And Ricky, that's a difficult putt from that distance. Good effort.
Just a little bit left on that one. It's tough. Like you said, it's tough to have a lot of confidence in that putt.
Yeah. Paul with a headwind putt there from 22 feet. Only birdie on the card. It's a great birdie to get to start the round off, especially in this headwind. You know, the earlier tee times might not have had quite the same wind. It kind of got brutal about 35 minutes before these guys were teeing off. That's when the wind really started picking up, and it did not let down for the rest of the round. No. Moving on to hole 2, 369 feet, and it's big sidearm play, but more traditionally, most players are going to be going with the big backhand over the water there. That bunker that you see right there on the hillside is blind from the tee, so you just really have to trust your distance. You want to hit the right side of the hillside there and have most of the inertia of the disc kind of chill out there, because if you're skipping behind the hill, most likely you're going to skip in the water.
Right. It really, the out of bounds water really kind of sucks you in.
That has got to sit down, and that's pushing the limits, but that's a great shot there from Paul.
Yeah, still had a lot of ground play. As you can see, it doesn't look like it from this camera angle, but it has a lot of slope down towards the backside of the green.
And this, we're going to have a left to right wind here. Kind of surprising to see Ricky throw so flat. Let's see if that's going to stay in bounds. That's going to be pushing it, and that is a red flag. Ricky is out of bounds.
Here's Lewis going with the low approach as well.
That's a good shot to avoid that wind, but didn't quite climb the hillside. The fans there see that it is in bounds, and the spotter confirms.
That looks like it needs to go.
And that as well is going to be on that short side. Safe, he's in bounds, but really Paul's the only one looking at a great shot for birdie.
Here's Ricky. And you can see those flags. You had straight headwind on that one. Looks like Preston was actually safe on that.
Yeah, Preston's in bounds.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you said that.
Decent effort there from Preston and Lewis. That putt, I would imagine that he could barely even see the basket, because that hillside is pretty steep.
And Paul doesn't get that high enough. And I actually think Ricky's shot was safe, because I was standing on the other side of the pond when he actually threw that shot, and I think the spotter accidentally gave him red flag.
Okay, so we got a par there for Ricky, and looks like the whole card is going to be walking away with par here on this hole. A lot of out of bounds to be had on hole 2, so you know, step 1, avoid OB, as they all did, and step 2, make the putt, which none of them did. Moving on to hole 3, though, 405 feet, and if hole 2 was difficult with the out of bounds, hole 3 is treacherous. There's the water on the right, which really doesn't come into play for anyone, but right up there by the green, you have the sand trap, the green on the right side, and the water on the left side is probably more in play than the water on the right side. Although we are going to have a really strong left to right crosswind, it's going to make it really difficult for these players to get the disc as far left as they'd like.
Absolutely, and even playing it deep, it looks like if you just, you know, hammer it a little bit deep, you'll have a good play, but that pine tree covers the whole entire basket, and you won't have anything.
Right. And Paul is spiked into the sand. It looks like he is in the hazard there. He's going to have a putt from about 28 feet for his par, but that's going to be in a straight headwind and uphill from down there in the bunker. That's going to be a tricky putt.
Yeah, definitely not easy. Here's Ricky, and that's the height that you want. Let's see if he gets it. Yep.
Oh.
And that was a solid shot, but a lot of ground play probably kept him from being a little bit closer.
And if you just catch the wrong part of the grass here, the fairways can be so fast. And if you don't catch that higher grass, you're going to get big skip and rolls like that.
Here's Lewis, and that's a good height as well.
And that's the inside line that you're looking for. That's the best way to play safe, and looks like he's going to have somewhere inside the circle.
Yeah, that was a very clean shot on Lewis's part. Here's Preston. And that needs to get up, yeah. Yeah,
that's a little bit soft, but it's trickled back down. That's what happens so many times on that bunker there with that slope.
But he'll have a circle's edge putt you know, to get par. Here's Ricky, probably just kind of laying it up, I'm
Yep.
guessing. Yeah. With that bunker right behind it, that would be a really aggressive play. And he's a lot further. Preston's a lot further than I thought, so I apologize for that.
Oh, wow. And you see him marking this disc. He was barely in. That happens so often. There's so many times as Paul comes up short for his par effort, not happy. It just seems like it's inevitable that you're going to be within inches of OB, either safe or out, at least 10 to 15 times throughout this tournament.
Lewis just getting the nose up a little bit too much, which is actually his style of putt. It looked like it maybe he was expecting it to drop a little bit.
Well, yeah, he had a pretty strong tailwind there. It's kind of surprising that
Yeah.
it didn't stay a little bit more level, but I mean, when you have that much nose up, it's hard for the disc to not rise a little bit.
Right.
2 bogeys, no birdies on hole 3. Tough hole. On to hole 4, which might be playing as one of the tougher holes on the course in these conditions. We're going to have a straight headwind almost a right to left headwind. And when we came through, which was only about 30 minutes before this lead card was teeing off, it was just conditions that almost made it impossible to attack this pin. You have the water all the way on the left side, and to clear that amount of distance is just such a tall task.
Absolutely. And so the play will be to keep it wide. The fence does come into play right if you turn it way over, and I saw a couple people do it with the wind that we had.
And Ricky is getting aggressive here. This is looking pretty good.
Wow, that is so far.
Yeah, that's a hard shot to do, and he is actually long of the basket by about 30 feet. He's going to have about 43 feet or so for his birdie.
Yeah, and there was no flex in that disc as well. That was all hyzer.
And you see Lewis being careful with his footsteps there. That it's kind of an awkward
That
teeing
looks
surface.
like it's going to be left.
I don't think that thing ever crossed, but it doesn't matter. If you go in the water, you will proceed to the drop zone. Little side note, actually, Eagle McMahon played the hole wrong during round 1. Went out of bounds along in the lake that you can't even really see from the tee.
Right.
And Paul's actually going to be left as well. That needs to hit the tree or get lucky somehow.
Skip over it.
Oh, no. And
Yeah.
that's the same pond that Eagle went out of bounds in yesterday. Paul's going to have to proceed to the drop zone as well.
I can't believe these guys are throwing straight hyzer past it.
Yeah.
When I was playing it, it was almost impossible to even get it to. And I think he's trying to do this. He plays it left side,
Wow.
which is safe, so that he has kind of a straight across approach.
That is a play I have not seen before, and there's some members of the gallery there that appreciate that.
And that's the kind of player that Preston is. He picks his spots where he wants to play aggressive, and then
Yep.
he kind of, he plays golf on a lot of these holes. And like you said, we haven't seen that play yet, but there's nothing wrong with it.
No, he's going to have a tough putt for his par, but he's taking 5 out of the. Oh goodness gracious, that is such a bad kick there off that tree. Lewis is going to have a long putt for 5.
Here's Paul with a nice smooth approach. He'll make good from there.
And Ricky from 38. Oh yeah, count it.
Wow.
Incredible putt. Tailwind really giving him the confidence to push it over that band and let the disc just do its work.
That's a picture perfect.
Yeah, great shot there from the catch cam. Beautiful slow-mos there. 3rd hardest hole on the day. And Preston saves his par miraculously. That's a great putt.
Yeah, really good putt. And this hole really was playing as a par 4.
Averaging 3.32. Only 7 twos in the day. Oh,
It's so
my
fun to watch him putt. It really is.
goodness. Not many times you deserve a slow-mos for a 26-foot putt, but that was probably one of the times.
Yeah,
Moving
well-
on to hole 5 here, we've got 696 feet. We're gonna have a right to left crosswind that's gonna be blowing these players way out left. I wouldn't be surprised to see a player go with a big backhand hyzer around the trees to the right today, but also wouldn't be surprised to see a couple forehands or maybe just some low line fairway drivers. The second shot's where it gets really tricky. The basket is so close to the water.
Yeah, exactly. And this fairway play is probably faster than any fairway in the world.
Yeah, known to humankind. There's a fairway in Iceland that's actually made out of blocks of ice that's actually slower and easier to keep the disc in the fairway than this hole.
I'll keep that in mind.
It's in Reykjavik. Reykjavik.
Well, Preston's playing this one.
Oh,
and he
no.
gets the nice is that coming? I think it's coming.
It's close. No, it doesn't
Wow.
quite hyzer back, and that's what that crosswind does. I mean, the disc looked pretty good coming out of Preston's hand there, but just drifted and never really allowed it. The wind never allowed it to hyzer back the way it was trying to.
Right. Paul going with the low hyzer flip, then that's
You could
I
say
feel
goodbye.
like there's no way.
Yeah. Say goodbye to that one. That's in the middle of the
back.
lake. Yep. That's why I'm surprised that with these players didn't go with the big hyzer, but you never know how much the disc is going to lift, and even going with a big hyzer play right of the trees, you could still get into the lake. Oh, and there we go. Seeing Lewis test out the waters here, so to speak.
Hopefully not testing out the waters.
Is that sand?
That's
No?
good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the viewers don't get a very good perspective of how windy this is. If you show the nose angle at all on hyzer, it's going left. It's
Yep.
going left a long, long ways.
Yeah, there's really not that many trees or obstacles out here that you can really see the leaves blowing. And the trees that are out here, you know, the one thing you get are these flags on the ground, and they're ripping. And some of the reeds in the water. But other than that, you just need to watch the shirt and Lewis's hair. That's the only way that you're going to be able to tell how fast the wind's blowing.
He's playing aggressive.
Oh,
This is
wow.
sit.
Sit down.
That's a really good
Yeah. He's going to have a similar putt for 3 as he had for 5 in the previous hole.
Paul playing it wide. He's playing the ground play.
Oh my gosh, so wide and doesn't quite get back towards the green. He's going to have 45 feet or so for his par. Finally getting up here to Ricky's great tee shot. Keeping the disc pretty flat, just a little bit of hyzer
And
to
that's where
avoid.
you want to land, I feel like.
Yeah, stop moving. Oh, great shot from Ricky.
Preston going with the short sidearm approach, probably just playing the wind there.
Yeah, didn't even want to play the skip, just kind of played a. What was that, like a ground flub? I've never seen the shot where he just slide it.
Yeah, it's called kind of a skip shot.
What? It didn't skip, it slid. You played the slide? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, the slide.
All right.
Some people turn the disc upside down and slide it.
That's true. And Ricky in high.
Like Ricky's putt just went upside down and in.
I'm not going to call that a ground flub, though. And
Good putt.
stays in the basket there. Great. You have to be aggressive in that headwind. You don't want the disc to hit, and you know, so many times, and really in any basket, if in a headwind putt. Oh, look at this. Oh no! Just off to the left side for Lewis. He's gonna have to settle for a par, which is a great score in this hole. In these conditions, I mean, overall, on a calm day, this hole is one you definitely want to birdie. But you see these guys shirts flapping.
It's kind of crazy that he went to a knee from that distance, especially with his like air bounce putt. Like,
yeah.
I don't.
Air bounce putt into a headwind scare. You have to get down to the knee. If you could actually dig. Oh no,
Chris.
Preston. I was gonna say, if you could dig a hole about 3 feet deep, then that might actually be better than going to the knee. A triple bogey there for Preston. That's a tough break for him. Moving on to hole 6, the second easiest hole in the course. Calm conditions, we were talking about it yesterday. This is one you gotta get. And these conditions, please just find a way to get safe.
Right.
It's so difficult. We got a right to left tailwind that's going to make it so difficult. If you go for the forehand play here, you almost have to aim directly at the basket, which is blocked by that tallest tree there. So you have to take your most overstable disc, throw it flat, and just hope that it hyzers. Or you could take a harp and just throw a backhand at it.
Yeah, and that'll give you a great example of how tough the course was playing today if this is the second easiest hole on the course,
Yeah.
because that's not a big island.
Yeah, this is a hard hole right
yeah,
now.
and you go from 2. If you don't get a 2, you're probably getting a 4. Like, it's a 2 or 4.
Oh, wow.
Like, there's a 2, Ricky's getting a 4.
Yeah. And
Like,
what
it's
a,
a follow flight.
yeah. No, low line, but look at that thing lifting and still hyzering, almost picking up a phenomenal hole-in-one there.
It went straight through the basket.
Into the trees. Paul throwing the new, I believe this is a Luster AVR X3, very overstable. Oh,
Almost brings it up
wow!
as
Did
well.
that hit the? It looked like it hit the cage, but I didn't hear anything. Maybe it was just the hillside behind it. A great shot there from Paul. And this has got to get down.
I've got
That's what happens to that hyzer. If you expose any bottom angle of the disc, it's going to want to lift from that wind direction, and it's going to push it over that wall.
not much you can do from there. It's so windy. And what did you call this?
Ground flub.
Yeah, the ground flub, I guess.
You love it. Do you like it, or do you hate it?
The ground flub?
Yes. Yeah, the ground flub. Do you like that? All right, maybe it's not so good.
No comment.
Okay, that's fair. And 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. Moving on to hole 7, the hardest hole in the course. Maybe the hardest hole in the world right now, if you can consider this a par 3. 546 feet across the water here, towards the sand traps. There's the green in play. There's bunkers that you can't see from the green or from the tee. And then we're just going to go ahead and throw a 35-mile-an-hour headwind directly at you. Not easy to approach.
No, not at all. And we see Lewis here lining up his shot. He has a lot of power. Let's see what... And he turns it over a little bit. And this is actually going towards those bunkers. Let's see if he can... He could possibly outdrive him.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Oh, sit down. Okay. That's the thing that's really tricky about this hole. There's really no safe play. You know, if you want to throw safe, you kind of have to throw like a soft checkup hyzer, and then that leaves you with a pretty long approach. That's kind of what Paul's playing here.
Whoa.
But, man, that got a crazy skip off to the left. He's safe, though, and that's going to leave him maybe 150 feet left.
Yeah, a play is kind of by this flag. If you throw hyzer there, straight hyzer, and then kind of skip it in front of the bunkers, that's probably, I feel like, the safest play on the hole. But then, like you said, then you're having almost the same shot into the green.
Yeah.
And it's super hard to control in this amount of wind. Preston looks like he's lining up straight at the bunkers.
Playing just a soft, safe hyzer. That's really the only play that
Right.
makes any sense right now.
And he makes it look really easy, but that's
Yeah.
not an easy shot
It's
at
not
all.
an easy shot. It's a good execution there.
Ricky playing sidearm in, and the only thing that can really happen here is there's a tree that you have to go right in front of. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go left of the pin. And it's good ground play.
Yeah, and he's left himself a little tailwind 12-footer. Great play there from Rick.
Right, I guess when you're that far, I guess right, then that tree on the left
It doesn't really come that much into play, yeah. And Lewis matches Ricky's line from over there and throws the same disc that he parked hole 6 with. I don't know what he's throwing there, but seems to know it pretty well. Preston giving us a shot here. Oh, just over the top.
So from this side of the fairway, that's when you're going to have to go backhand, because now you can see that
Right.
tree's right in the way.
Correct. And Paul just laying up there. Good execution. Yes, Paul. Good execution.
He wasn't out, though.
He wasn't out?
Preston was out.
Oh, yeah. Somebody alert the media. Oh, we are the media. Someone tell us.
I just did.
I don't know what to say anymore, all right? I'm sorry.
Good putt. For Lewis. Another good putt. And they all cleaned up their, putts inside 20 feet.
Yep, good work there. Moving on to hole 8, the 8th hardest hole. 88 players play it. A lot of 8s going on here. Hopefully no one's taking one though. But it's not necessarily that far from imagination because we have a really tricky pin position here at the top of this mound. It's going to be difficult for the players to land somewhere on the green safely because you have the mound here, the bunker here on the right side, and then behind the basket there's another bunker that you can't see. Another thing that comes into play quite often is the water that's far left.
You're going to see a lot of people play wide around this tree with hyzer and try to spike it on the top of the mound. This one is not near the mound, though.
No,
but that's fine. You can lay up from there and take a par, and par's good on this hole today.
And we have a pretty strong tailwind here coming back the opposite direction from the previous hole. So...
yeah, and if you have the distance to throw the sidearm here, I feel like it's probably the safest play that you can.
Absolutely agree with that. Paul with a nice shot. It's going to be just inside the circle.
Terrifying putt, though.
Super scary.
That's when you bring 8 into play.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you're saying.
The crazy 8s.
I saw some people definitely have some putting practice on that hole.
Okay. Did Ricky just go Anheuser backhand? That's not forehand. Not one of the best forehand players in the world throwing a forehand. Anheuser backhand. That's an interesting play. Maybe he just feels more comfortable with the tailwind throwing that kind of shot. But that's color me shocked.
Yeah, maybe he was thinking throw mid-range and try to, land it softly on the hill instead of like skipping the sidearm into there with like a fast disc or something.
And Preston has gone into the bunker. Fortunately, the bunker... oh, goodness.
What is...
no. Oh, gosh.
Okay. Well, that's not...
if you do the same thing again, it's in.
No, it's not.
Oh, and Ricky's not laying up. That's... how do you elect to go for that putt? That's crazy, man. And sit. And that is
Penalty,
rolled
wow.
into the backside bunker.
Here's Preston to save par. Good putt. Good putt.
Good save there. You can see it's pretty steep uphill there. Have to see. Oh, and I guess Lewis is still out. Oh no.
See, so he did it again, and he didn't make it, Jerm.
Paul saves these 4. And Lewis is going to have a different wind to contest with here. He's not going to have that headwind, so hopefully he can drive it low and save his bogey. Oh, and it's popped out. Tough hole for Lewis.
That wind condition has got to be so difficult for his putt.
Yeah, I mean, you can see why on a calm day. Oh, watch it. On a calm day, Lewis is so deadly around the greens. And even in the wind, he can be deadly. A spin putt is one of the best putts to attack the wind, but if you have a headwind, if you air bounce, it is a really difficult thing to do. Moving on to the final hole, the front 9. 819 feet. We've got a par 4 that we're going to have a straight tailwind. Bombs away. Elevated basket up here with the bunkers off to the right side of the green. Really, the tricky part is just navigating these trees coming into the green. And also, if you don't get close, the putt's going to be difficult because the basket's elevated.
And Ricky's getting after this, but you can see the tailwind just is not going to allow a disc to fade right with Anheuser. It's just going to push you to the left. And that's fine.
That's the ideal side, I think. That's going to allow Ricky to throw a forehand approach with something overstable. And Preston electing to throw off the grass tee.
And that should be fine. Yeah, plenty of distance. He'll have the same kind of play, I feel like, into the green.
That's kind of cutting the hole in half. He's still going to have close to 400 feet left for his approach.
Just throwing a nice smooth 450 hyzer.
Low line. And it's kind of in between left side, right side. He can probably go forehand or backhand depending on what he's got left there.
There's Lewis.
See how he bounces back after that
Displaying
really
his
tough
power.
five.
Yeah. You could tell he had maybe a little aggression in that one.
Mhm.
That's really good.
It must have been something pretty understable because that tailwind is not going to allow something to hold over that long for most discs.
And here's Preston displaying the power with the sidearm.
Wow.
Like I said, he has really good,
That's huge.
smooth power both ways.
Unfortunately, it's too far. He's going to have a headwind putt from about 35 feet on an elevated basket, which is not exactly what you're trying to.
That's a putt from there.
Mm-hmm.
Low ceiling, but he won't have any problem because he air bounces.
That's right. And Ricky going with that. I believe that's a spark, but I'm not quite sure. Don't
Shot, yeah.
quote me on that, but that's going to be a slam dunk birdie for Ricky.
I expect Paul to do some of the same, and even though that's a little high. Let's get that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. It's well within his range, but certainly leaving about 10 feet short of where he'd like to be.
A little bit high, maybe expecting a little drop from the left-right crosswind there. Lewis just not getting it high enough on that one.
Oh,
Wow. Just a little miscue. Even the best putters in the world have those.
mm-hmm. I've had one for 12 years.
I have one every other hole.
So 1 birdie and 3 pars. And that's going to wrap up the front 9 here for the second round lead card coverage of the 2018 Utah Open presented by Prodigy Disc. Make sure you check us out for the back 9.